here's the thing about cleaning. The more you do it, the less you do it. Wait, what? What I mean is if you do some small little tasks every day, so you're doing more of it to stay on top of it, it actually ends up being less than if you let it build up and end up having to do an all-day deep clean. With cleaning, it really comes down to working smarter, not harder. Let's not make this any more complicated than it needs to be. I'm going to share with you some of my favorite work smarter, not harder cleaning tasks to help you clean faster and more efficiently with less time. Lots of times when it comes to cleaning, the actual act of starting the process of cleaning is the hardest part. So let's talk about a few ways to sort of hack your brain and some of the brain science about getting yourself started on a cleaning task. Number one, I always tell you guys about my theory that a body in motion stays in motion and a body in rest stays at rest. If you are sitting down, relaxing, looking at your phone, watching TV, it is going to be a lot harder to will yourself to stand up and to get going on any to-do list item, whether it is cleaning or it is not. Just like if you have a big boulder and it's already moving, it's going to be a lot easier to keep it moving as opposed if you're trying to push it from standing still. A body in motion is a lot easier to keep in motion. So one of my quickest tricks to get myself motivated to do something is just to stand up and get moving, to do something. I will put on like a 10-minute dance workout video on YouTube. Go for a quick walk, take the dog out into the backyard, run some stuff upstairs that needs to go upstairs. Willing yourself into motion to clean maybe isn't super enticing, but if you can will your body into some sort of other movement, then you can sort of compound that into the task that you need to get done. 2, setting the mood. No, not like that. Well, actually kind of. If you have ever like done a big deep clean, you may find that you like to kind of set the mood first, right? Maybe you get on like a comfy outfit, light a couple candles, and you open up the curtains and you put on your favorite playlist. Why is it that we do this? It's because it actually kind of works. These are all little like treats that are naturally releasing endorphins in our brain, and so they're actually making us feel better and feel more motivated. Number 3, do something that's going to give you instant gratification. I've talked about this idea a lot too, that instead of tackling like lots of big things at once, I will work in small sections of my house. Our brain loves to complete tasks. There's a reason that crossing things off our to-do list feels so good. It's going to give you a boost of dopamine, and that boost of dopamine is going to make it a lot easier for you to sort of like push into the next task. So I always start with something pretty easy that's going to give me somewhat instant gratification. Usually for me, that's going around and just tidying up all of my flat surfaces. So putting things back to where they go, clearing off the dining room table, clearing off the floor, whatever it is sort of in the space that I'm working at, I usually just work on the clutter because clutter can usually be put away in less than 10 minutes and it gives you the biggest bang for your buck. Okay, next up we're going to talk about how to keep things minimal. Again, we are working harder. We're not working harder, we're working smarter. We are going to be working smarter, not harder. So we really want to keep things as easy and minimal as possible. So 1, definitely remove the excess clutter. If you haven't already done this as your instant gratification, there's some sort of stat out there somewhere that says that 50% of the time that we spend cleaning our house is just tending to the stuff in our house. Remove the excess first so you can focus just on the cleaning that needs to get done. And again, I think this is probably one of the biggest roadblocks that a lot of us hit when it comes to cleaning. We might look at something and say, I know I need to clean this, but the thought of clearing off all of the clutter in order to clean it becomes a roadblock. So if necessary, work in just really small sections. Pick a very small area, just a dining room table or just the sofa or just one area rug to declutter and then clean that section first. Next, we're going to use multi-purpose products and multi-purpose tools because it just saves us time. There are some products out there that have single uses and sometimes they are needed, but for just general cleaning, finding a multi-purpose cleaner that you can use in just multiple situations is going to save you a lot of time because you're not going to be digging between all of your 8 million different cleaners trying to find the one that you need. And when you are cleaning, make sure you're letting your cleaner sit on whatever you're cleaning for a minute or two. When you let it sit for a minute or two, it can sort of penetrate into the mess or the junk or whatever it is, and it makes it a lot easier to wipe away. This is just letting the products do some of the work for me. And on that note, I love multi-purpose tools. A couple of years ago, I switched to a wet dry vac, and honestly, it like changed my life because I was no longer sweeping and then also mopping on top of it. I now have one tool, it vacs, dry vacs everything, and it mops all at once. I've been using the Roborock one for quite a few years. You guys have heard me talk about this one. I really enjoyed it, but I just recently, very recently switched to the Bissell because I honestly just wanted to try another one because I like to be able to try multiple products so I can really share my honest reviews with you. I switched to this one because one, it is cordless like the Roborock. That was very important to me. I did not want to have to deal with plugging something in because that is an extra step, and an extra step means I probably won't do it. So you can add that to the list of hacks in today's video. Think about ease when you are buying your cleaning products. If the process of using the tool may deter you from wanting to use the tool, you might not use it. For me, a wet dry vac or even a vacuum in general that I may have to like lug out and unwrap the cord and plug the cord in just to vacuum, then to just do it all again, maybe that little barrier that would prevent me from doing it as much. Where if I have something that is cordless, that is charging on its own, I can just grab it, quickly clean, and then put it back, I'm a lot more likely to do that. So these are things to consider as you are buying your cleaning products. The other reason I bought this one is it has a feature that my Roborock didn't, which it has just a dry setting. So we have mostly hardwood floors, but we do have some area rugs. And so this allows me to clean the hardwood floors, but then I can switch over to just vac if I want to do my rugs, which I really love. Okay, next we're gonna cut out any extra work. Again, going back to the thought about the vacuum of having to like do the cord and plug it in, it seems really small, but it is extra work. And anytime you can cut out extra work, it's going to make it easier to clean for you. So honestly, something I have done is remove things in my home that make it harder for me to clean around. So this may be decor that's like out on tables or out on cabinets that I'm constantly having to pick up or move to clean around. A big thing that I've stopped doing in this season of life while I have small children is I don't have throw like rugs in my kitchen anymore. I love the look of a throw rug. I think it looks really, really nice in a kitchen. But the truth is I have spills in my house multiple times every single day with small kids. And it was just an obstacle that I was constantly trying to clean around, or when a spill would happen, now it was an extra thing I had to clean. I had to pick it up. It had to go into the wash. It just became an obstacle to cleaning. And so in this season of life, I removed throw rugs from the kitchen because I'm cleaning my kitchen floors 4 or 5 times a day, and this makes it 8,000 times easier. Another example I always share is throw pillows. Throw pillows are beautiful and I love them, and I think that they're really great, and I use them in some spaces in my home, but in the living room, which is the most used space in our home, they mostly are just toys for my kids. They're throwing them on the floor. My 1-year-old is ripping them off the sofa as he's learning to climb up on the sofa. Hi, Tate. Hi. And I found myself just constantly picking throw pillows up off the floor. It was creating added work for me, and so I removed it. Another thing is to consider the maintenance of an item before you buy it. This has become something that I greatly consider when I buy basically any furniture item, any decor item, any item that I'm bringing into my home. I actively think about the maintenance of this item. So let me give you some examples. When we renovated the bathroom in our last house, I specifically bought a toilet that went straight down at the bottom, that didn't like curve out and have all these like weird crevices, because I was like, that will be the quickest and easiest to clean. I bought my son's new bed when we moved into this house as a metal frame instead of a wood frame, because I have learned through experience that the metal frames just tend to be a little bit durable. They tend to hold up a little bit better. I bought a leather sofa because it is easier to just wipe off a leather sofa if you spill something on it than it is an upholstered sofa. I buy pretty much only exclusively low pile rugs in my home because they are much easier to spot clean when stuff like spills in them. You know, you don't have this big thick shag you need to clean through. A lot of them tend to be machine washable. So certainly sometimes we will pick aesthetics or just decor over the maintenance of it, but just starting to think about the maintenance of items as you're buying them and possibly opting for things that may be a little bit easier to maintain is going to make your day-to-day life a lot easier. Okay, make sure you're using your appliances correctly. This is something that for so long I was so bad about. I hate to read instructions. I get something and I'm like, cool, I'll figure it out. Good to go. But a lot of these things nowadays, especially cleaning things, all of these have so many settings and so many different like configurations in which you can use them that taking a little bit of time to make sure that you're using all of the settings of your appliances correctly is going to make them so much more effective. Okay, so let's start with dishwashers, because I just recently learned some stuff about dishwashers that for some reason I just never bothered to learn in my 36 years of life. Now, the basic function of a dishwasher is what it's going to do is it's going to fill up with water, it's going to spin that water around for a while, it's going to drain out that water, and then it's going to bring in some new water, right? And it's going to do a couple of cycles depending on the settings of your dishwasher and what dishwasher you have. Typically, your soap is not getting dispensed in the first wash. That's considered a rinse, so it's sending out some water, going to drain that before it does another cycle that fills up in which your soap is going to dispense. Just knowing this is really helpful because one, it lets you know that you need to make sure you are using the soap dispenser in your dishwasher. Don't just throw your pods in, don't just throw the soap in, because then otherwise you are only getting soap in that first rinse, so the dishwasher is not going to work as effectively. Now the other reason this is important to know is because that first rinse is not getting any soap. The whole point is basically just to rinse your dishes. There's a chance that that first pre-wash is not working as effectively as you want it to, because if you have a house like most people, when you turn the tap water on in your kitchen sink and you turn it to hot, you probably don't get hot water immediately. It might take 30 seconds or even 60 seconds for your water to go from cold to hot, because your tap water is coming into your house as cold tap water, and then you have some sort of water heater that is then heating it. If you have this in your home, if you're using most traditional standard North American dishwashers, that first cycle that is going through your dishwasher is getting filled with cold water because it hasn't had a chance to warm up yet. And if you've ever washed dishes by hand, you know that hot water is far more effective at breaking down the oils and fats that are on the food or on your plate. So a simple trick here is to run your tap to hot first at your kitchen sink and then turn your dishwasher on, because now that first round, that first rinse is going to use hot water and it's going to be far more effective. A second trick is to use the pre-wash option. A lot of dishwashers actually have a little spot next to the regular soap dispenser that's for pre-wash. You'll notice it probably has little slits in it, and so this is going to allow this detergent to go out in that initial wash to help that initial rinse be more effective. Put a little bit of liquid or powder detergent into your pre-wash and you will find that if you have extra dirty dishes, they will come out much cleaner. My dishwasher actually doesn't even have a pre-wash option, but I've been just putting the tiniest bit of liquid, literally the tiniest little squirt, just on my door before I wash it, and I found having that little bit of extra soap and running the hot water when it does its first initial cycle makes my dishes come out so much cleaner. Now let's talk about washing machines, because washing machines I think have even more settings than dishwashers. It can actually be super intimidating. Taking a few minutes to get to know what a couple of those settings and those knobs mean on your washing machine is going to allow you to wash your clothes a lot smarter and not harder. You have 3 basic settings on your washing machine. There's delicate, there's permanent press, and there is normal. And if you're like me, all I knew was the delicates were for delicate items and that normal is what I just is for normal, and so I would just do normal. But it's actually a little bit more than that. Regular is going to be a fast agitation as well as a fast spin cycle. It's also going to use consistently a hot water. Permanent press is going to use a warm water. It is going to be a more mild agitation in the drum. It is going to be a slower spin at the end to avoid wrinkles. And then finally you have delicate, which is going to be a slow agitation. It's going to be a slow spin at the end, and it's going to use cold water. Obviously with normal, you're sort of getting the biggest bang for your buck. You're using hot water. Hot water is going to wash the best. It's going to be a fast agitation. It's going to be a fast spin. So you are going to get your stuff really clean, but you are going to end up with some cons here. One, hot water is not great for everything. It leaves your clothes more prone to fading, and it can shrink clothes and stretch fibers on certain clothes. Permanent press is a little bit in the middle, right? You're getting a slower agitation and a slower spin, so you're maybe not getting things quite as clean, especially since you're using more of a warm water as opposed to a hot water, but you're going to leave your clothes less prone to wrinkles. And then finally, delicate, for your delicate items. You're using cold water. You don't have to worry about it hurting the fibers of your fabric, but cold water and slower agitation, slower spin is not as effective at getting out dirt. Another thing to know about your washing machine is that it also probably has a pre-wash. This is usually something you select on the front panel, that you want something pre-washed. You put a little bit of the pre-wash into your washing machine, and then that's going to add, just like in the dishwasher, a little bit of soap in that initial rinse cycle. This is for items that are heavily soiled. I find just adjusting a couple of the little settings on my washing machine, depending on what I am washing, makes a really huge difference. And this is going to bring me into my next topic when it comes to laundry, and that is that I've gotten really good about washing my laundry things very specific by topic. I feel like for all of my life we were told to separate our whites and wash them separate from our colored clothes. I grew into adulthood and I just never did that because it seemed silly. I didn't own that many whites. I was always confused, who is all these people that have loads and loads of whites. But in motherhood I have found it is much easier to wash my clothing by topic. Every family member has their own laundry basket in my house. So my 1-year-old has one, that is just his. my 3-year-old, my 5-year-old. I have one that's mine and my husband has one that is his. And then I tried to keep one in our bathroom for just towels. This doesn't work out perfect. Sometimes they end up mixed up, but I say we have about an 85% accuracy. And not only does this allow me to wash the different types of clothes differently, again, like I said, my kids' clothes usually on normal, while adult clothes tend to be on permanent press. It also alleviates the worst step of laundry, which everyone knows the worst step of laundry isn't putting it into the washer and it isn't putting it into the dryer, but it's then trying to get it back to where it goes. But when I wash by type or by person, then those clean clothes can all go back into the laundry basket and they can go directly back to where they belong. And I'm not stuck having to sort through whose stuff is who. I've learned that it was literally the step of sorting that was taking me so much time with my laundry. Okay, my next hack is to keep cleaning stuff where you need it. Now, in general, most of us probably have like a cleaning closet. I keep cleaning stuff under my kitchen sink, as most people do. But in some instances, if you find there are certain things that you are usually like having a hard time getting to, or you're like always kind of like neglecting cleaning, make it easier for yourself by putting the cleaning item directly where you use it. So an example here is I keep little like Clorox or like disinfecting wipes underneath every single bathroom sink. These aren't necessarily maybe the most eco-friendly because it's a one-time use, but what it does is it means when I'm in the bathroom and I'm washing my hands after I go to the bathroom and I notice that the sink is a little bit dirty, I have wipes right there I can literally grab and I can wipe it clean and be done. Where in the past I might look at it, I might say, oh, it's dirty, I need to make sure that I clean it, but I'm not going to make the whole connection to walk over to the kitchen, to get a paper towel, to get my multi-purpose cleaner, to go back to that bathroom, clean the counter, and then put all this stuff away. Keeping a toilet wand at every single toilet. I like just having a toilet brush and I'll put a little bit of cleaner at the bottom of the base, and then you can literally like quickly grab it, wipe it, and be done. Again, toilets are one of those ones that you'll go pee and you'll be like, oh, I need to clean this toilet. But in that moment, you're not gonna like run over to your cleaning closet and get all this stuff. But if you have the wand right there, you are way more likely to grab it, quickly wipe, and then you're clean. Last but not least, of course, I'm going to tell you to use daily routines, because if you've watched any of my videos for any period of time, you know that I'm obsessed with habits and I'm obsessed with routines. And the truth is they just make your life easier because they help you set things to autopilot in your brain. It's one of the #1 things that changed my life and really like progressed me into making the types of videos that I make on my channel is the habit of never going to bed with a dirty kitchen sink. 5 or 6 years ago, when I could not get my life together, I could not seem to keep on top of anything, I couldn't seem to keep my house clean. So every morning I would come down and there would always be some dishes in the sink that I just like felt like I hadn't been able to get to. And so I made a commitment that every night I was going to clean out the kitchen sink. I was going to do whatever it was necessary for me to come down to a clean kitchen. And what that did basically was eventually just ripple into other aspects of my life. Once I started cleaning my kitchen sink every night, I was then wiping down the counters. I was taking time to like clear off the coffee table. But it all started with this little small daily habit that I said every night I was going to clean my kitchen sink before I went to bed so that in the morning I could come down to a nice clean kitchen sink when I had my coffee. And I still use the same exact rule to this day. I always clean my sink before I go to bed. Most of the cleaning in our house, if we can tackle it in little tiny daily routines and habits, it's going to make it a lot easier because then it's not going to pile up into this big, catastrophic, monumental like cleaning thing that we have to do. Another one that works really great is setting timers. I will set a 15-minute timer on my phone and I'll do this once a day and I'll just say, okay, I'm gonna get as much cleaning as I can get done in this 15 minutes. Timers are really great because in our brain they're a concrete amount of time, and so we really like it when we can see a start and an end time. If we are looking at a messy space, we don't see a start and end time. We just see it's messy and I still have a lot of work before it needs to be cleaned, and that can feel really overwhelming and it can lead to us not wanting to do it. It can lead to us having issues with task initiation. Like I said at the very beginning of the video, that process of getting started, that like first step, it can really hinder us from wanting to do that. But if we say, I'm setting a 15-minute alarm, I'm just gonna do as much as I can do in 15 minutes, that is a concrete set of time. We know in 15 minutes, no matter what we get done, we can be done, we will be done. That is a lot easier for our brain to digest and makes it a lot easier for us to start. All right, my friends, that does it. I'm sweating. I'm literally sweating out of excitement for cleaning smarter, not harder, but also because I have to turn off the air conditioner when I film and because it would just be way too loud. Are you guys having the hottest summer ever? I wanna say it's just because I'm pregnant that I'm hot, but everybody's complaining about how hot it is in Connecticut. It's been so humid. Ew. Anyways, I need to turn the AC back on before I just die of heat stroke, you know? YouTuber passes out from heat stroke on video. That wouldn't, I don't think it'd be good. You know, they say all publicity is good publicity, but I'm not really sure about that one. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I hope that some of these little tricks and hacks that I have learned over the years to helping me keep my house more tidy and clean will help you as well. As always, thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Remember to be kind to yourself and others, and I will see you all in my next video.